is Chabot versus Hughes. Who's the top D-man in this division?
Of those two?
Oh, so it's not your top D-man's not one of those two?
Well, what are we classifying as top D-man? Points-wise, fan perspective? Like, what is our...
Just your opinion, because this all started when Sportsnet did their all their rankings of the top 5 D-men in this division, right? The top 5 D-men on Canadian teams, and it just ended up devolving into an argument between Devin and I on who's better, Chabot and Hughes, because I think we came to a consensus that those two are the two best defensemen in this division. You've got, because you look at everyone else, and Weber's no longer where he was at. Gio's no longer where he was at a couple years ago. Riley, Morrissey, Petrie, Schmidt, they're not quite there yet, or just not quite at that level. And it comes down to Chabot versus Hughes in our opinion. And then it's become a bit of a running argument that happens almost every episode.
I think Chabot is going to be the guy that's going to look better this year, because I think he's going to be playing top minutes on a surprisingly deep Ottawa team. I think Hughes is going to be the better guy of the future, because I think he has a long way to go still to develop. So I think if you're looking at the guy who fans are going to notice more, I think Chabot will better contribute to his team's success.
Okay. Interesting.
I think if I look at these two, if you ask me the same question in 3 years, I think Hughes will be my answer. But this year, I think Chabot is going to be the guy that will. I'm not saying Hughes won't contribute to his team's success. I think it's a lot like Hanifin here. He has a role. He'll play that role well. You might not notice him as much, but I think he'll play his role well. But I think Chabot is going to be looked at to be a big guy on a very competitive Ottawa team.
Okay. We don't have Devin to make big gesture of like
I'll
confusing looks. It's my turn.
Are we doing the wave?
He has a role. He's their number 1 defenseman.
He is right now, but I don't know the Vancouver is going to be as successful as they were last year. I think that's a team that could slip, and so he may not contribute to their success as much.
The way I look at Hughes is that the way he controls the play when he's on the ice, the way he can change the game, is there's very few defensemen that can do that. Chabot is up there. He can do that as well. I just don't think he does it at the same level that Hughes does. And I think that Ottawa is going to be a tough win every time you play them, but they don't have the defense outside of Chabot.
Agreed.
They do not have Can Matt Murray actually rediscover his cup-winning form, or like actually change his game to match the way the NHL's played now? And do they actually have enough offense? I don't think they do. So in terms of where I think Chabot's going to get, I think people are going to have their eyes open for Chabot this year, because they're actually going to see him play a lot more because of this division and all that. But I know maybe
he looks good without a good partner though. Who's Hughes' partner this year?
For Chabot?
No, Hughes. Who do you pair Hughes with?
Hughes is going to be paired with. It sounds like they're actually going to try and put Hominick there.
See, and that's the thing. I think Hughes is definitely good, but I think you can only be so good playing with Hominick. I think Chabot will look even better playing with good Branson or Zaitsev. We'll see.
But the other thing is, go to tie this back into some of the discussions we've had previously on the way Travis Green runs his blue line. He's gonna get ice time with Schmidt. He's gonna get ice time with Tyler Myers. Like, he's not going to just get Hominick's he's not going to get stapled with Hominick, because that he was paired with Tanev last year, but he also got significant minutes with Edler at time. He got minutes with Edler. He got minutes with Tyler Myers. He got minutes with Jordy Ben. So it's just, I don't know. Like I said, maybe just the way you phrased it, where you're like, oh, he's got a role like Noah Hanifin. I'm like, whoa.
I guess when I said that, I mean that he's a younger guy who maybe isn't ready to break out yet. And I think that you might see Chabot looking better, because I think he's on a better overall team.
You have more trust in.
Whoa. Did you just say that Ottawa is a better overall team than Vancouver?
I think Ottawa has a lot more depth pieces. I think that they could surprise this year. I think they're going to be surprised the Canadian division.
Oh my! Devin talked about the Oilers YYC guys having greasy takes. Holy smokes! There's going to be a grease fire off of that.
If there's one surprise I think we're going to see this year, I think it's going to be that Ottawa's going to surprise and Vancouver's going to disappoint in our division.
Whoa! Where's that hot?
Yeah, you're. Oh man, I'll just tell you right now, you're wrong. I'm sorry. Like they may slide a little bit, but not that much. Not that much.
There's 3 teams that won't make the playoffs. Who do you think they're going to be in the North?
Ottawa, Winnipeg, and then it gets very, very tough.
I wanted to save this, but I'll say it now. I have the Oilers not in the playoffs.
Yeah, who's going to stop a puck for them?
Well,
and they have to deal with Tyson Barrie, doesn't know how to play defense.
I mean, we were talking earlier about potential trades to be made. I mean, if the Oilers have no puck stopper and we find that Riddick is expendable, might be a deal to be made there.
Maybe.
I hate trading with the Oilers. I love for years of the Flames had like a 20-year no-trade agreement with the Oilers, and then they broke it, and it wasn't even a good deal. I can see if you broke it for a star. We broke this deal of not trading for 20 years to bring in Steve Stamkos. It's like, really? That was the best deal that we could have got? Okay. No, I hope I'm wrong, but I always like to have sort of one out-of-the-box prediction. My prediction this year is that Ottawa really does better, and I think the Vancouver could slide. We'll see. The division can be so tight. I think that even sliding doesn't mean you do terrible. I think that sliding could even be 1 7-game losing streak, I think, could even get you out of the playoff picture this year.
And that's where I'm at. I understand that. I just when again, it's phrasing. Vancouver's got Pettersson and Hughes, 2 of the big, the most talented players in this division.
Yep.
To me, for them, it comes down to the goaltending and the defense and all that. If Holtby and Demko can give them 80% of what Markstrom did last year, then I think they're in very good shape.
But, you're saying they've got 2 of the top forwards, but the question of the defense, the goaltending, this sounds like the competition every year around Edmonton, right? I mean, I'm not denying that there's some good players in Vancouver, but when I look at the roster, it's one of the not as complete rosters in the Canadian division.
Every team has their flaws, though.
For sure.
As we talked about how unbalanced the Flames roster is, right? And the question marks on their bottom pair as well. I don't know. Are
JT Miller and Tanner Pearson top 6 guys? That's a question.
Miller's
I'm sorry. JT Miller is a top.
JT Miller
is a top 6 guy. Yeah. Tanner Pearson's a 20-goal scorer. Is that not top 6 material?
We could debate this all day. I'll stand by my thoughts, which is I'm not denying that Vancouver has some good young talents, but so did Edmonton, right? But I think there's a lot of questions, like you said. There's questions on goal. There's questions on the back end. You can't win the division with 2 good players.
No, but they've got other. For me, like I said, when I say the questions in goal, it's can Demko repeat what he did in the bubble? Yep. Can Holtby come in and be a good relief, or even just push for starts and be a good solid goaltender? Do the Canucks learn from how they played it versus Vegas? Yeah. And with the addition of Nate Schmidt and adding that puck moving ability,
I think Vancouver's in a great place in their rebuild, but I think they're still a rebuilding team.
There's still ways to go. If Höglander can come in and start producing and then they've still got Podkolzin coming through. Yeah, I think they're 2-3 years away from being if everything goes right, to being a legit top team. But like I said,
we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong.
And
every year there's a team that gets overhyped, and I think that might be the Canucks this year, but we'll see.
Even though that's your take is basically everyone's take right now, that they're going to slide. They're not getting overhyped at all.
I don't know. Sitting here, it sounds like they're getting overhyped, but we'll see.
Oh, well, to borrow a phrase from Devin, I'm a Canucks honk.
All
So
right. Well, hopefully you'll have me on the end of the season and I can say I was wrong and Vancouver won the division